was we went to visit some friends, and I believe while we came out, the FBI just came along and told, I don't know, I can't remember the exact words, but I remember Bob didn't seem alarmed, or he didn't show much emotion, and maybe it was because I was with him that he didn't want to scare me, but I didn't know what was going on, and he followed us to the farm, and I guess Pop got his stuff together, and he took him away. That's what I remember. And as Pop left and then he didn't come back, then I really did start to worry more. And as he didn't come back and time went on, and my sister and I had to, we were the oldest, so we were the ones that helped sell the chickens and pack and all, and we really didn't talk to each other much about it, because that's just the way we were raised. We didn't tell each other our problems, or we didn't talk about our fears. We just grew up that you got on, whether you got hurt physically or whether you got hurt emotionally, you just sucked it up. And of course today, if it would happen today, I certainly wouldn't have been so quiet.
I was the oldest of 4 children, so I was 12 years when I went to camp and to Topaz, and my baby sister was barely 2. So in retrospect, thinking about my mother, to have a child that age, and she was still in diapers and had, drinking milk out of a bottle. Those things, as a 12-year-old, you never think of things like that. But like I said, in retrospect, it must have been very hard for my parents. My father had a nursery on University Avenue, and he had to give up everything. And some of the things we did store in the Berkeley Methodist Church. But when we came back after the war, he had to start from scratch.
Because our dad was taken away by the FBI, he was not there to help my mom prepare whatever we needed to do to leave the home. So since we were told we could only take what we could carry, as kids, we didn't really have much in the way of valuable possession or something that we wanted to take with us. But I did have my dog, and I really wanted to take her with me. And I worried because I thought, well, what's going to happen to her, So as we got in the car to leave, we're going down this road, and my dog kept chasing after us, barking, because she wanted to come with us. And I was wondering, I wonder if she knows that we're not ever coming back, because I didn't know where we were going. But I did know that my mom said we may probably never come home to this house again. So I kept looking in the back of the car to see if I could find my dog, and she was running so fast, and then pretty soon she just gave up, and that was the end of her. I didn't know what happened to her. So as we were in camp, I would always think about her, and I missed her very much. And so I would sing this song, to her, because I just wanted her to know that I'm thinking of her and hoping that she found a second home. So this is the song, and it was a song that was popular during the time when I was growing up, and it was called Sunday, Monday, or Always. So I'll try my best. Oh, won't you tell me when we will meet again? Sunday, Monday, or always. I'll be satisfied to be by your side. Sunday, Monday, or always. Oh, no need to tell me now what makes the world go round and round. When at the sight of you, my heart begins to pound and pound, and what am I to do? Oh, can't I be with you? Sunday, Monday, or always. So to this day, I'm still wondering, where is she? Did she find a home? It's a sad memory.
My father really thought that people, the families that went to the mess hall where the kids weren't eating with their parents, that he thought that was a breakdown in the family. So they brought our food home and we ate at home in the barracks. Some of the other things I remember, one good thing I remember that I probably wouldn't have done if I remained in Southern California was learning to ice skate out in the open, because they had a big area they would just flood with water every winter, and it would get so cold that the water would freeze, and we had a big open air ice rink.
I remember they fed us horse meat one time, and that was kiboshed real quick when we found out that we were being fed horse meat instead of cow beef. Anyway, when being a kid, I can remember we had seasonal playthings. Like we had marbles in the summertime, yo-yos in the wintertime, tops in between times. But there was a seasonal thing about every type of toys that we played with. I can remember it was a miserable place. The wind used to blow, the dust between the cracks of the floor, and it was cold in the wintertime, hot and miserable in summertime.
Well, when the war was declared, I was still going to school at the University of California, Berkeley, and I was going around with my future husband, and we had planned to be married after we graduated and had jobs and got settled. But when the war was declared and they were talking about evacuation, we thought, well, we might get separated. And so we decided, well, we'll just get married now. And so with a reluctant okay from my parents, I was only 19 at the time, and that was a little young, but we were given permission. But before we were married, somebody came to our house and said that they would like to take pictures of our wedding. We didn't know who she was at the time, but she did come with an assistant and took our pictures. And this is what I considered my 15 minutes of fame, because it turned out that she was Dorothy Lang Taylor, who became very, very famous for taking pictures of the dust storm and things like that. And so that picture has been going all around in other venues. And well, we went to Tanforan, and that's where we spent our honeymoon. I wrote a piece about spending a honeymoon in a horse stall. But the experience itself was not a happy one, but we were happy that we were together. And I lived in a horse stall, as I said. And well, we were married in 1942, but our first baby was born in 1944. And then we had another one in 1945, two of them born in Topaz.
I grew up in Topaz as a 4-year-old until I was 8, And my mother divorced our father between Tanforan and Topaz, so I grew up without a father. And it has had a profound impact on my life as a human being. But in camp, I went to the first grade. I remember we had to salute the flag by the front door, and I remember that last part. It said, "With liberty and justice for all." I mean, we just said the word. We didn't. At least I didn't know what I was saying. But it's only as an adult I learned that what the Constitution stood for and what our Bill of Rights stood for, and that's when I became aware of the violation of us as a people and me as a person. And I've grown up quite bitter about the treatment I got before, during, and after camp. And it's those, it's the multitude of those broken dreams and broken hearts that I have a lot of. I became very sensitive about who I am and how I'm treated.
My name is Libya Hideko Maoki Yamamoto, and I come from Peru, South America. I was in the Crystal City camp from 1943 to 1947. I went in at the age of 7.5, and everything was new to me, the language and the whole thing, the whole experience. We were evacuated from Peru, South America, where the US government had blacklisted the prominent businessmen and active Japanese leaders. And out of 2,600 evacuees from South America, 1,800 were from Peru, which is about 80%. And our fathers were first taken very suddenly in January of 1943. And then we said goodbye, but we didn't know where they were being taken. And we didn't know how long they would be away. But then, about 6 months later, we were given orders to leave the country. And we were told that we would join our parents, our fathers. So mother and all the children left Peru in July, 1st of July 1943, and rejoined our parents and our fathers in Crystal City. They told us that we were going to be exchanged with hostages and be used as hostage exchange with US citizens that were held by Japan as prisoners. And so to prepare us, the government prepared a Japanese school for us. So we had to go to Japanese school every day. And when the war ended in 1945, the government told us that we were illegal aliens. So we had to leave the country. We could go back to Peru and or we could go to Japan, but we had to leave the country. We could not stay there. So, but Peru would not take us back. They did not want us to come back, or they would not let us in. So we had no other choice but to go back to Japan. And my father was not very well, so it was really hard to decide that, because Japan would have been devastated after the war. And my father was in no physical condition to bear all that hardship and the working and to get back to normal. So we nevertheless signed up to return to Japan. And the day before we were to leave the camp, my father got sick and he could not travel, so the government kept us in camp. And we had to say goodbye to my relatives and my friends who had gone to Japan. So we had to stay in camp another year or so. And after the people went to New Jersey, and the government told us that if we found a sponsor, we could leave the camp and stay in the United States. So my father, with the help of this Conco bishop, who was very helpful to a lot of the people from Peru, he wrote letters for us in English, and my father found that my mother's oldest sister was in Berkeley, so he wrote to her in Japanese and told her the situation and asked if she would sponsor us. Well, she agreed to sponsor us, and with that we were able to leave camp in 1947. It was such a happy time for us to leave camp, and we came out to Berkeley. Everything was new. Everything was amazing. For 4 years, we were stuck in this camp surrounded by barbed wire fence and guard towers. And now we were in this beautiful city with neon lights and trains going through the city. It was really a happy time for us.